Greetings and welcome. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. I have a few minutes I want to share with you from the book of Daniel chapter 12 verse 4. There's a concept there I want to curve out which I want to share with you, and hopefully we can encourage one another, seeing that the end of the world is at hand. Daniel chapter 12 verse 4 has this to say. If you read it from the King James Version, it does talk about the end of time. And here's what it says, as Daniel was given it. Verse 4, but thou, Daniel is being told by the angel, but you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall increase. Wow. What an instruction that is given to Daniel. And if he is told to shut the book, so he's closing it. And because these were scrolls, he had to roll it. So he's not only closing it, but he is actually sealing it as well, because it is for the end of time. So the angel talks about the end of time. And he then says two things. Men shall run to and fro. And he then says, and knowledge shall increase. Now, there are different schools of thought that are shared by different scholars or biblical theologians that generally interpret this into three schools of thought. The first school of thought says this is a pursuit or a search for truth. It comes from the Hebraic word shut, S-H-U-W-T, or S-H-U without the W and T, which often implies a diligent search for something. It's someone who's paging through, and going through a frantic search, but in a very chaotic time where you're not quite sure what it is you are looking for. And so this, of course, they pair it with this phrase, increase in knowledge. So there's an increase in knowledge and people are searching. Experiment after experiment and searching after searching, investigating and looking into the depth of information and struggling to find lasting truth. That's one school of thought. But the second school of thought says it's a literal running to and fro. People are actually getting into cars, into ships, into aeroplanes, into space shuttles. Men are running to and fro or to and fro. This is the age that is depicted by the Industrial Revolution, the technical or the technocratic age, where technology is what is helping us to move even quicker and cross the oceans very fast. And information flies in the airwaves and reaches the ends of the world without even you living here and posting it. It flies in the sky. So this is said to be a representation of a global explosion of information, the information age, which means we have become so interconnected historically. People have moved from Africa to Asia, Asia to Europe, Europe to Africa, Africa to Europe, America, and everywhere, such that today your demography cannot be just a homogeneous group of people who are whites. There are blacks in Europe now. There are whites in Africa now. There are black and whites in America. And I'm using that term very loosely, not that there's anyone who is black. There's no one who is white. These are racial terms. But these are people of different melanin. There are some who are melanated more, some who are light-skinned, but it's all one human race. Daniel chapter 2, verse 43 does talk about these nations. And listen to what it says on verse 43. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Again, it talks about the attempt to unite the whole world under one humanity. There's talk of one world order. Daniel says they shall never cleave one to another. Whether Europeans and Africans, whether Africans and Americans, whether blacks nor white, nor even the ethnic groups of this world. When Jesus talked about there shall be wars and rumors of wars, these are ethnic wars between different tribes and nations and kindreds and people. And so the world will be in a state of of panic and a state of chaos. That's why the first school of thought says people are searching in the midst of panic, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of fake news. You know, we live in a time when there's so much fake news. Some of it has become almost gospel today. People are accepting what is not even real. So there's a lot of disinformation, and in this time of disinformation, in this time of AI-generated content, which may not be real, people are searching for the truth. But some are running and going very far to search for that truth. But I want to talk to you about the third school of thought. So the first one says there's a pursuit of truth, but in the midst of chaos, there's an investigation. There's a consumption of a lot of information. But the second one says it's actually a general, global, physical travel, exploration. We saw this happen in many ages. The Industrial Revolution, ships were being built, people were crossing oceans, and then aeroplanes are being built. People are flying overnight into continents, and they don't only come with their culture or their religion, they also come with their diseases. It has become very easy to transmit pandemics across the world because of air travel. We saw it in the COVID pandemic when it happened. You can no longer close your borders because people move. But there's a third school of thought which I want to share with you, which is the one I subscribe to. The third approach says this running to and fro is an opening of prophetic understanding, which was previously sealed up, because the book of Daniel was to be shut and it had to be sealed. And I believe this scholarly perspective links that phrase of running to and fro with the sealing up, and also the understanding that the book will be understood in the end of times, that people will be running through the pages of Scripture. From the Old Testament to the New Testament, they will be searching, and as a result, they will understand biblical prophecies as they were given in the Bible. And these prophecies were the ones that were previously sealed, and people did not know about them. And so I believe that school of thought is very true, particularly for the book of Daniel. Let me explain to you why. I'll share with you from the other old prophet of the Old Testament, Amos chapter 8, verse 11 and 12. Listen to what the prediction is for the last days. Verse 11, chapter 8, verse 11, "Behold, the days come, says the Lord God, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of the thirst for water, but for the hearing of the word of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east. They shall run to and fro." There is the statement. What are they running to and fro? Amos says, "to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it." The last part is terrible, it's painful, but the to and fro is explained here. And this gives me the same impressions that I have when I read the book of Revelation chapter 10. Because in the book of Revelation chapter 10, there's a mighty angel that comes down from heaven. And he is clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow is about his head, and his face was as it were of the sun, and the feet as pillars of fire. He had a small little book in his hand that was open. And the verse says, "And he set his foot on the sea and the other foot on the land," or the earth, "and he cried with a loud voice as it were the lion was roaring." When he had cried, 7 thunders were about to write, but they were told, "Don't write what the 7 thunders have said." And it says, verse 5, "And the angel that I saw standing upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven and swore by him that liveth forever and ever, who created the heavens and the earth and the things that are therein, the sea and the things that are therein." And what did he proclaim? He said, "That there should be time no longer." So the time that was spoken about in the book of Daniel, that it will be the time of the end, that this book will be opened. At this time, the angel says time is no longer. There's no more time. But he has a small little book in his hand. The angel that was there with John told him to go and take that book and eat it. The idea of eating a book is actually studying it and taking its message and ingesting it. He was told your mouth will enjoy what you're eating, but your stomach will become bitter. This was not word poisoning. It was an experience the church was to go through that John is represented as going through here. So I personally believe that this angel of chapter 10 is the angel that explains what was sealed in the book of Daniel. What am I saying? I believe, brothers and sisters, my friends, colleagues, this is the time that we must study the Bible and get to know what it prophesied about the end of times. If there is a book you must read, particularly, and I would like to guide you to the particular books that will help you understand, start with the book of Daniel. We have done a Daniel series here, word by verse, up to chapter 8. I wish we could continue until chapter 12, the Lord willing, where we have explained through chapters such as chapter 2 of Daniel, chapter 7 of Daniel, and chapter 8, where there are 4 kingdoms seen in metals and in animals. When you look at all those, the metals and the animals, we have passed all of them. We are right at the tail end of the 4 kingdoms. They have come and gone. So we are standing right now at the toes of Daniel chapter 2. We are standing right now at the judgment of the little horn power. It has come, it has toppled 3 other nations, it has spoken great things against the saints against God, it has worn out the saints, it is about to do it again according to Revelation chapter 13, which is the other chapter I need you to know. You can read chapter 12 as well, get to understand the great controversy between Christ and the dragon. The same dragon who's spoken about influencing the 2 beasts of chapter 13 is the same dragon, the old serpent, the snake, the Lucifer himself, the fallen angel. And from chapter 13 onwards, I need you to know chapter 17 and chapter 18. They are powerful messages God would like you to know from the book of Revelation regarding the judgment of the great war, the persecution that's coming, the Sunday law that's coming, the disenfranchisement of God's people as Jesus predicted in John chapter 16. I tell you these things so that when they happen, you are not offended. Verse 33, in this world you shall suffer persecution, but take heart, I have overcome the world. The servant is no greater than the master. If they persecuted Jesus, they will come after you. The 5th seal again repeats the same theme. The saints who were persecuted are shouting, oh Lord, how long shall it be before you avenge for our blood on those who dwell on earth? They were told to sleep a little bit until their brothers are also killed like they were. Chapter 13 of Revelation says that beast is going to persecute the saints, those who have not received the mark of the beast. And he shall cause many, great and small, to receive the mark of the beast. And those who shall refuse will be killed or will be persecuted. And so what am I saying? The running to and fro is in response to what's happening. Jesus put it this way in the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 26. Maybe let me read it, my friends. We have time to read the Bible. And I know I'm making this message a little bit longer, but it's important. I will close it right now, and I will be releasing you. But listen to what Jesus says in the book of Luke chapter 21. I want to read verse 26. Luke chapter 21, verse 26. And let's hear what Jesus says about the end of time. This is a chapter where he outlines what's going to happen in the days of the end, the signs of his return. Verse 26. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. The powers of heaven shall be shaken, and men's hearts shall fail them for fear. You don't have to be afraid of anything because you have read the book. When you read this book, it will prepare you for what's happening and what's coming. So I want to encourage you, study the prophecies. Run to and fro the pages. Run to and fro the internet in search of the truth. You will find it, and God will give you the peace that surpasses all understanding. So as you run with the word. Whatever you do, I like what the civil rights leader Martin Luther said. He says, run. But if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. Whatever you do, keep moving forward. Run to and fro. Search the scriptures. For in them you will discover Jesus. And when you find him in the pages, come to him and be saved. God bless you, my brothers and sisters. And I want to thank you for those who have liked and subscribed and followed this ministry. And I also want to give a big shout out to our members, those who have subscribed and are donating every month to this ministry. God bless you. We really appreciate you. And you too, if you have not yet subscribed or you haven't liked this and you haven't supported this, you have an opportunity to do so right now. We really appreciate your support. God bless you.